Welcome to Mystery School episode 6. All right, we are here tonight with the duo, of course, Mr. Tony Eddlemon on.
Yes.
Tonight, the bass guitar with our special guest of Tork fame, guitarist Jeremy Long.
Hello.
Yeah, Jeremy Long, J-Rock.
Yo.
J-Rock, welcome, buddy.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. So, hey, now this is it's kind of the first musical group now that we're going to have on here, since me and J-Rock go back a long time with Tork. Tork, yes.
Tork.
The progressive metal
Yeah, what?
music.
All right, so what year did you guys start jamming together? Let's try to get this down to the nitty-gritty.
Jamming as Tork?
94.
You said you guys have been playing for a long time.
Yeah, so we probably
together.
started playing together in 93, 94.
93, 94.
Yeah, we met
like eighth
in 8th grade.
I don't even know what year that's supposed to be, but
94. I'm just subtracting because we were about 13 there.
math.
Yeah, and we're about 33
yeah.
now. So 20 years ago.
This is like the 20-year anniversary.
Exactly, it is. And tonight is kind of special too,
Yeah,
because
so.
this will be the first performance of Tork in 7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost a reunion.
A little bit.
Fun. So what do you think, Jeremy? Why don't you give Tony a little background on how Tork came to be, how you came to be as a musician? Like, that is you.
I had, several influences in my life that pushed me in the direction of playing. I had always been into music for a long time. Didn't know I was
From
destined.
how young? Like from young?
Yeah,
Young.
there was always singing involved in my life. I had joined a lot of choirs when I was a kid. Did a lot of that stuff. Not until 7th grade, I had a friend that had a bass guitar and a drum set, like one of those little shit sets, little kid sets. And he had an acoustic guitar too.
Yeah.
And he knew how to play some Nirvana songs.
Nice. Your first garage band.
So he would play, and I would sing them horribly in his backyard.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure his parents were,
Were you belting it out?
sticking needles in their ears. Yeah.
Belting it out.
I think one of the first songs that I learned how to sing with him, if we were a group, was Rape Me,
Oh, okay.
which is very family friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that goes
Especially
great
for
in the
elementary school
neighborhood.
kids performing it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. You guys are attracting the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
But,
Wrong NAFTA.
So goes Kurt Cobain and his legacy. He's this guy named JD in 7th grade influenced me to get the party started.
Uh-huh.
That summer, after 7th grade, I decided that I needed a bass. That's what I wanted, was a bass.
You want to start out on the bass?
Yeah, because that's what JD played.
Okay.
So I made my $300-something for the summer. My dad took me to a guitar center and looked around at all the guitars on the wall. It's very daunting.
Yeah, crazy.
You got money and you just see everything that's worth way more than what you got.
I know your $300 isn't like the most
doesn't
at
go
Guitar
far.
Center, yeah.
Go home with tax. Dang.
So
You're like, which 3 basses can I afford?
what was funny is that I didn't pick up an instrument. I just saw a certain guitar that was not a bass guitar. And for some reason, it spoke to me. It stood out. And I said, that's what I want. Turns out it was $500.
Yeah.
And, just a little backstory, but none of the prices at Guitar Center are real. So, you can haggle a little
You
bit.
haggled them down.
At least, 20 years ago, you could haggle with Guitar Center.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably not quite as easy to haggle there anymore.
Well, and I
Now
have my
they're kinda
dad
going
with
under.
me. My dad's a wheeler and dealer, as I'm sure
Yeah, man.
you know.
As-
Hey, what's up,
yeah,
guys? You
as
gonna
a
give me
lot
a
of
good
dads
deal,
can
man?
be.
Yeah. So he talked him down to 3, And
You got it down
I've
to
got an
your
electric
range,
guitar
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I need an amp.
What was it?
It's the same one I'm going to be playing tonight. Actually.
Oh, the same
Wow.
one. Nice.
Yeah, it's a Mexican-made Strat,
Yeah.
and it was made in '93.
93.
is the year.
She brought it brand spanking new.
So I bought it. I think I bought it brand spanking new, if not a little bit after. But it was Mexican. They didn't really care.
Arriba.
You know, the Americans were going for a lot more, but something spoke to me about it. It was what was the actual Crimson Red was the color.
Crimson red.
Is that the
So-
bottle cap beast now?
Yeah, that's the bottle cap beast now. It's
Yeah, now-
it's taken many forms since
It's
I've
funny.
had
So
it.
that was bought by a 12-year-old kid, and now you've reversed the numbers into a 21 plus. Alcohol slamming, old bastard, jamming.
So the guitar
The
now
devil's
is
music.
21 years old and it's covered in bottle caps.
Yes.
Appropriate.
It started out a beautiful crimson red, decided that wasn't appropriate, and spray painted it gold,
Yeah.
which was horrible.
Yeah,
That
I'm
was funny
sure.
looking.
Did you do the proper prep, sand it down?
Fuck no.
Just like
No.
tape off the pick guard, let it go.
Yeah,
Well,
I
Jeremy
taped
really-
everything off.
You taped it off?
I took the neck off even.
Okay.
You
Part of your hip hop.
But you
fad.
didn't take the
wanted to be
the
blinging.
pick guard off, did you?
No, I took it off.
Oh, you took the pick guard off.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just didn't prep it.
Yeah.
I didn't sand. I didn't do much. And it was just rattle can,
Yeah.
crap.
By a kid who.
So the gold didn't last long. And then I decided I was going to really paint this thing nice. And I got a $50 quart of car paint. It was
Car
silver.
paint.
Had metal flake in it.
That looked actually cool.
And I brushed it on like an idiot.
Just brushed on car paint under your guitar.
And a
it-
painter. You're a painter. Too.
And I'm a painter, yeah. So that shows my lazy side, I guess.
How thick?
Or
or
efficient.
creative.
So
How
yeah,
thick did you lay it
didn't
on?
look bad.
Pretty thick. It had some streaks. You could see some brush marks.
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah.
Texture marks.
Texture.
So then you came after 7th grade buying the guitar. He came up to Cool, California. That's
Mhm.
where we met in 8th
Mhm.
grade. I was doing the classical music, playing clarinet and saxophone in band and then jazz band, 0 period. Jeremy played guitar in the jazz band.
Yep.
And so that's how we kind of synced up.
I think you actually got me to do that. You suggested it, and I was like, "Wow, let me check this out."
Well, because just like Jeremy's mentor, he came in and played guitar, and I was kind of like, I like this kind of music. I was a band geek and a jock at the same time, which was funny. But now I was like, let's play some rock and roll. So he played guitar. He would go up in front of the class as his project and just sing and play guitar, and everybody would clap. Like, holy crap, Like my little brother's doing magic at Thanksgiving, and like, I can make a couple like shots of some basketball for you. Play a clarinet tune.
You wanted
So it's
your
like,
own
yeah,
skill.
like how can I sing and play guitar? So Jeremy taught me to play bass, and then I filled in on bass in the first incarnation of Tork, which was Toast, with said
Sure.
drummer friend of Jeremy's who played drums in that band.
Where did
So
you get your
Ian
bass?
Hill.
I got my bass. Let's see, first bass. I think it was a gift from my father, a Fender jazz bass, probably a Mexican P bass or jazz bass.
Yeah. Tonight.
That red
I have a
red one.
picture
Yeah.
of us at the assembly that we played.
Tonight I'll be playing Mexican jazz bass.
Fantastic.
So it'll be
It's gonna
appropriate.
be a fiesta in there.
Mexican
Before that, it was a
Fenders
crappy
rock.
bass that I bought. I think for like $60.
Oh, you did start
Yeah,
on.
I was
cheap.
doing like lifeguard working over the summer. That's how I bought my first kit, and then had enough to get a little bass.
Is that when Baywatch was big? You were looking pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
That's
it
why
was
he
big.
wanted
That's
to-
why I did it.
Do it.
I'm
He had the run
Hasselhoff
down.
mania. Yeah, perfect form on the run and dive.
We actually we arranged a lot of songs. I remember at that pool.
We did. We wrote 3 songs and lyrics
Yeah.
one day at work while I was a lifeguard. I think a few of our hits today,
Yeah.
like Broken Man, Fake, and 20 Paws.
You remember any of the lyrics?
We have them all. Yeah, we
Do you
play them
remember
to this
'em?
day.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
still.
Oh, you're
sing
still
them.
I wrote them
doing
down.
I'm still playing.
Still
Oh,
sing
they're
them?
still. Are
They're
gonna,
good enough to still be played.
Are they
Yeah.
still going to be happening tonight? Are we
Yeah,
gonna
we'll
be
play 'em
playing any of
tonight.
this?
Yeah, sure. We'll,
right.
we'll reach back.
Yeah, and that was fun. So Jeremy, he's always been kind of my creative muse. We like write 3 songs in one night. I remember that 15, those same 3 songs. He spent the night at my parents' house. We just had 2 acoustic guitars, and we would just write songs. We would sit in the class hallway in the hall. Yeah, and we would just write a song during break and just jam. And then we would play shows in the hallway sitting. I would make Pringle can cases and little trinkets and get tape from like the librarian, pots and pans, and tape it to like his guitar case. And then he would put like a little clip-on 9-volt Marshall amp on his belt and play through his Ovation guitar. And we would sit in the hallway and jam on songs. I remember one rainy day, I had a guy carrying the case around, and we did a marching band through it, and I gathered it up like the Pied Piper. Ended up in the hallway. We just on rain delay.
Forced entertainment.
Yeah, and we started playing a Rage Against the Machine. Like, won't do what you tell me. And there was a mosh pit in the hallway.
And
you know, boom, like
singing this, and people.
Yeah, we're singing this. I'm drumming on Pringle cans, drumming. He's singing and playing the guitar, and then all of a sudden the mosh pit goes crazy. Slams into Jeremy. Who hits him. It hits him in the back. His back's kind of to the crowd, and I'm sitting facing the crowd, leaning up against the wall.
I was also sitting facing you.
And he was sitting facing me, Indian style, so we could like communicate. And so some dude crashed into the back of Jeremy, who like crashed over the top of his Ovation and actually cracked the back of the Ovation.
Oh man!
We realized that. We're like,
the plastic part, or fiberglass.
So the show's over. We like started throwing the Pringle cans at people,
pissed.
like pulling stuff off the kit. Yeah.
Now I look back and I realized that was an awesome moment. But at the time I was so mad. Like,
his indestructible guitar was broken.
You broke my guitar. The show is over. The music has stopped.
Of all places, too, the back.
Yeah.
You would, like that fiberglass back, you'd expect that thing to be durable.
Yeah.
But these high schoolers, man.
Well, you know.
Rowdy bunch.
We had a lot of fun little outings like that.
Yeah, good times.
We just, you know, looking back, and when people ask me these days, coming up, saying, how do you get to where you are right now? How do you learn how to do this or that, or, you know, just to be a musician, write a lot, whatever you do, whatever somebody wants to hear. And it always comes back to, damn, we played for hours and hours every day. Like, we had the time, and we had parents that supported it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing, because kids can go, yeah, I love this, and, you know, parents
can talk them out of it.
Can talk them out of it, not buy them things. I remember when we decided we were going to be a band, when you were playing bass, I think it was that same summer that I bought my guitar, or possibly the next one, or somewhere in between. My dad suddenly came home with a grip of gear, a mixing board, PA speakers, monitors, 4 monitors, like a huge setup. He has it loaded in the back of his car. Here you go, guys. You're ready to go now. And I was always the guy that usually had the stuff at my house, you know, because my dad didn't give a crap. Play until, you know,
we practiced
midnight.
In my bedroom or in Jeremy's living room.
Yep. I mean, we did a good share at your place.
Yeah, we had awesome parents. Like my dad, like ever since I was a baby, he would have like $1,000 Strats, American Strats, like 70, you know, old vintage, nice Gibsons, you know, $2,000 guitars, like really awesome acoustic Martins. He would always let us touch it.
You got to play those when you were like first starting out. Got to play his dad's
he'd get to come over and be able to play on them.
No, he let me touch them.
Yeah, and his combo amps. Like,
most of the time, I didn't even want to. I'm like, it's fine. I'll just look at them.
They're meant to be played. I mean, if you respect them and have some sort of just.
Not to mention that Martin was scary. If you didn't play perfect, it made you sound like shit.
You had to play it very confidently.
Yeah.
Very confident.
Martins are like that, though, I think. I mean,
I haven't played a lot of Martins.
I haven't played a lot, but he had a D. His old Dreadnought one, but I think it was mahogany or something. It was really pretty, very earthy. And if you didn't press down on every fret like you meant it, then it's going to buzz and it's going to sound like shit.
Yeah, it had some high action,
good
high string tension.
Yeah, I didn't play it that often. I mean, I played it a few times, but...
It was awesome for me for form, especially being a drummer, to have some sort of guitar vocabulary and write rhythmic riffs. But yeah, it helped you just really tighten up your technique. But so yeah, that moved on. We just played all kinds of places, grooved into what became Tork, a beast, a Tork lifestyle. huge following from old people to young, everything in between, singing songs, selling out Boardwalk, packing fucking places.
So who's your guys' first bass player, or after you switched to drums?
When I switched to drums, our first bass player has been our only bass player, which is Paul Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Crawford.
Yeah,
he's out
he
there.
Was
somewhere.
Also another friend. He played trombone in band with me.
Yep, and I think I taught him how to play bass the way that we needed a bass player.
Because I played bass in that band, and like Jeremy's saying, they were playing a lot of covers, and me and Jeremy just brought out this creativity in each other to do originals. We started writing these original tunes, and the drummer wanted to play covers, and we couldn't communicate rhythmically to him play the sounds he wanted, being young too. So it was like, okay, he wasn't working out. We had that void. I'll play drums until we find a drummer.
Who's that first drummer?
Ian Hill.
Ian Hill.
He was my next door neighbor, and I think that was just a
really cool dude.
A circumstance of convenience.
Yeah.
I lived next door to a drummer after I bought my first setup.
Yeah.
And would hear him play, and I went over and was
the synchronicities.
Before even starting school. It's like, you're a drummer. I play guitar. Duh. Let's get together. And then,
And those are places where I would go and sit down at
Dustin
Ian's house on his kit and play, and be like, holy crap. Like this, I was first chair really good at the clarinet, but I had to try playing drums. It just came really easy for me, even though like it was weird. I just sat on, played a beat like 0 period when the lights were out. We had a drum contest solo, and I could just do drum solos where everybody else would make noise.
Quick hands
somehow, or cans. I could just hit. I always tapped as a kid and get in trouble for class. So we never found a drummer. It was easiest for us to write the rhythms and then me to play them on the drums. We had no a middleman to communicate it to, and then we found a bass player that could just go there with us, that filled that void of me not playing it, and
Apparently,
Jeremy creative muse with him.
I had a better time just teaching people how to play bass with me than just finding a bass player.
Yeah, it's easier just to groom it. At that age, where do you find a bass player at 12 years old? You ready to play some rock music?
Yeah, how many?
It's a small pool.
So many bands.
Everybody wants to play guitar.
Yeah, it's about the same pool of the kind of equipment you can afford. There's maybe like 1 or 2 guitars, maybe 1 or 2 bass players available for for that requirement there.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many musicians would have been a completely different player, but they randomly got a guitar or a drum set?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's so much depends on what you first
got that
buy.
bass instead of a guitar.
Yeah, you could have just been a
what would
bass
I have
player.
been? Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I mean, that's why those synchronicities line up, and it seems to be meant to be, right? Who knows? It's brought us here. You're back after 7 years.
Any chance it's all wrong? What if we got it all wrong?
It might be.
I think we did get it all wrong, but we're making it right now.
Today, what we are doing, I'm playing bass through a guitar amp, and you're playing guitar through a bass amp. That sounds all wrong in a way.
I'm all wrong.
It's opposite day.
Yeah, we're both flipping it around.
Well, that's my rig. That's not
Yeah.
necessarily your rig of choice, but
Yeah. No, but it probably makes more sense when a bass player has the ability to play a lower note than you. Huh? I got just like this guitar amp, so it's like, hit the low E, it doesn't have much there. You're like, well, check this low E out.
right.
Roll your octave pedal down and just blow me away.
Whoa. Yeah.
I think it was sounding cool, though, when we were checking it out in there.
Yep. I think we're going to get a good mix.
J-Rock is a tone maestro. I mean, of all the people I've played with, I mean, with the exception of you, Tony, you guys, that's why I've kind of gravitated to your style. Is just the pedal stompers.
Thank you.
The awesome tone. I mean, understanding those layers and the changes of how the musical progressions go, and it might need a new environment or sound, and you guys really put a lot of thought into it, and it's really cool, and J-Rock with that pedal board the size of a coffin, and just the sounds that he does with splitting up speakers. You do the same, or with bass and guitar amp. We've experimented with all kinds of things, like putting stuff in bathtubs, just trying to get that tone. Every kind of tone, from tuning heads to basses to guitars and speakers and mix and mastering opposite.
You do have the biggest pedal board I've seen, I think. How big is it?
At least mobile.
It's a little over 5 foot by 2.5.
5 by 2.5.
10 to 12 inches tall.
Yeah.
Two steps.
Yeah.
So what are the components of this beast?
And you made it, right? You cut all the wood and built that thing.
Yeah, I built it. I wired it. I have more to go on it. I have some special LED lights that are gonna engulf the whole thing.
It's a cool board.
It's gonna be like an entertainment section.
It's
apart from me.
Reminds me of the controls to a space shuttle. You could probably get something flying with it.
Every time I use it, I fly high.
Yeah.
You want to hear a rundown?
Run down.
Run it down.
To the best of my knowledge, Line 6 XT Pro. 13 years old. Pretty old. That's a go-to. It's actually what I'm going to be using tonight is just that. Very dumbed down version of my stuff.
Yeah, tonight's no board. It's just the one
just the
pedal
XT Live, yeah. I have a Boss ME70. It's another multi-pedal that allows me to do a few other things that the Line 6 doesn't do. It's got a really nice whammy sound, which is amazing, which is when it's not Digitech. It's
not a fan of the Digitech whammy.
You're not?
You're not. I haven't used it.
I am, but they're pretty big for what they only do one thing.
Oh yeah,
I've got a multi-pedal that's twice the size of a whammy pedal.
Yeah,
and does 100 more things than the whammy does.
Yeah,
I found something that does the whammy sound well enough.
Yeah.
It's got good tracking,
And that whammy pedal is a digital thing too. So this is probably very similar.
And apparently, the only good one to get is like the first or second one, which are expensive as hell. So
you gotta go on eBay and drop like $400.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
it's good enough. What do I got? I got a Black Finger made by Electro Harmonics. It's a compressor.
Yeah,
a tube compressor.
Yeah. What do you use that for an effect, or do you have it on?
It's on all the time.
Just always on.
Yep. It works great for the Strats.
You keep it in front.
Yep.
Like first pedal.
I keep it in front before the pedal patch switcher.
Yeah. Okay. So you like to just have a little compression on your guitar at all times.
Yep. It adds a little compression. It's a little bit of a boost. But again, the tube sound is killer. It adds a little bit more oomph to the Strat tone. Yeah. Which, I'm not generic Strat tone anyway. I'm using Seymour Duncan.
Hot Rails? Is it
JB Juniors? They're basically Hot Rails.
Because it's a humbucker, right?
Yeah, they're a single coil sized humbucker.
Yeah.
And I roll with that on both of my guitars now, both of my Strats. It gives a little more oomph.
Yeah.
So that I got that pedal. I have what I was mentioning to you earlier, 2 Line 6. Some of the newer pedals that they have, the transition delay and the.
Those are TC
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, TC Electronics.
Yeah,
cool.
TC Electronics. So those I run together actually as one patch because they're kind of nice.
Yeah.
I've got a custom manufacturer out of Mesa, Arizona that makes it's called 1/3 overdrive. Mm-hmm. And it's a tube overdrive pedal.
Has a tube in it?
It has 2 tubes in it.
Oh, cool.
A power and a gain.
Yeah, that's
tube.
Cool.
That thing's awesome. I love it. It's great. I also have a Fuzz Factory.
Nice.
Which you have.
Yeah.
I saw that in there.
I like the Z-Vex stuff a lot. Yeah. And I think the 2-tube overdrive pedals are a cool idea.
Yeah.
I like those.
I just found the problem in them is that the tubes are going to go out.
Yeah, but
preamp
tubes last a long time.
Last Tork practice, I had to use other distortions.
You've had one go out?
Yeah, I had a tube go out.
Wow.
So it was just way quieter in the mix. couldn't get it pumped up to everything else, so I just omitted it.
Yeah.
I got enough toys.
Yeah.
I have an MXR. I forget what it's called, but it's basically their heavy metal distortion.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is nice for like a Deftones, like crunchy distortion, very metal distortion, lots of mids. It's got like a built-in compressor, so it kind of chunks up real nice and cuts off a little bit of gate, which is good for our
like
old
those
stuff.
old orange Boss distortion pedals.
Yeah.
Yeah, loud, heavy overdrives. The gate can be a nice thing to have to stop that crazy noise.
Yeah. It's almost a necessity with some of the
The Fuzz
distortion.
Factory's got a gate on it, right?
It does.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah. That thing's a beast.
It's a crazy pedal.
You turn one knob, you got to turn 5 other ones to make it sound good again.
Yeah, you can make the thing feed back by turning like any one knob too much.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which knob you grab. It's so weird. It's like in a lot of pedals, there's that one knob that can get too crazy.
Yeah. This is every knob for that one.
It's a wild animal, but
Yeah.
I think that's the reason it can create so many different sounds.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do a really just cut off fuzz that is just barely there when you want it, or it could just be chaos and noise. And
Yeah, some of the sounds it makes, I haven't heard any other pedals make.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's very unique.
Yeah.
Very unique. And then you add some other pedals to it, nobody's replicating that.
Yeah.
Not to a T anyway. Let's see what else I got. I got a Morpheus Capo,
A Morpheus Capo.
which is basically a pitch shifter. But
It's a capo pedal, huh?
It's a capo pedal, so you don't have to
You
use
hit
a
it and do a
capo.
whole step or half step, or it
Yep.
goes half step at a time.
It goes all the way to a 7th, then it does a 12th, and then it also does a 12 string. So it gives you your normal signal plus everything up
So-
12.
It'll do half step up to 7,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to go to 12,
Yep.
the octave,
Yep.
and then you get the 12 string sound also. Yeah.
I'm figuring out how I want to use it. It's interesting.
Does it sound natural?
Yes,
It does.
it does.
You
It's
think-
amazing.
Do you think if someone blindfolded you, real capo versus capo pedal, would you be able to tell?
It's still digital.
You could tell.
It's still a pedal.
Yeah.
It sounds very natural
Yeah,
for
okay.
for what those pedals do, but you could play a whole chord. It's not just single note. The tracking's excellent. If you don't have any effects on, no distortion, no chorus, no nothing, then it's tracking. Great. You can play.
Yeah.
You can play a C chord. You bump it up to the 5th. You play that same C chord, and it sounds great.
You ever
rings all the way through?
hold a chord and then shift it with that pedal and then shift it back, or you do any of that?
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
I'm still working it into the songs,
Yeah.
or I mess with it on jams a little bit, but until I know how to work something, I tend to use it sparingly.
Yeah. If you would have brought that tonight, you could have really confused me.
I was thinking about it, but that's also my thought, is that there would be some confusion there. I've got an old Boss ensemble chorus ensemble, old pedal, still alive. I've got an octa-switch that brings me through everything. It's 8 patches in one pedal.
You got an in and an out, a
Yeah,
bunch of
it's
ins and outs. It's a pedal switcher.
Yep. A loop, if you will.
A looper? Or that's a loop?
Not a sample phrase, a phrase sampler, but more a patch looper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then is that it? I feel like there's more, but
Sponsored by Jeremy's Pedal Barn.
yeah. That's enough about my pedal board.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll change.
You ready to show us what those sounds can make on that with that?
No, because I didn't
He
bring
didn't
it.
bring it.
Well, hey, touche.
Let's hear that line 6
Yeah,
then.
let's hear what you
Yep.
can do.
I guess you should say your amp, I guess, since we went through the pedals. What's the amp?
GK, Gallon Kruger bass heads.
And then your cab. Normally you use 2 Marshalls, right?
Yeah, normally I have two 1981 JCM 800 and JCM 900 cabs, both made in the same year. Have the GT 75s in them, 75 waters. They're a little more oomph in the low end, which is what I like. Allows me to do a little more jazzy stuff and have that real hard push on the bottom end.
Is that what the jazz guys are doing? They're like, you got to get a bass head.
You'd be surprised. I think a lot of them go for stuff like that, but it's interesting. The reason I am where I am amp wise started when I had a tube head, and I would go out. When you have fresh tubes, it doesn't sound the same as when they're broke in. When they're broke in, there's your money spot.
Yeah, you got sick of dealing with new tubes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then they start going out. So the beginning and the end of the life of the tube sound like shit. But the middle's great. You just don't know how long that's going to last. You start gigging, you start getting banged around. They could go out on stage. Too much to deal with.
Yeah.
So I started going solid state. Bass amp. The first bass amp that I had, I got from Dustin's dad. It was an acoustic amp. Has a bass and treble and volume. That's it.
Do you like solid state bass amps because they like have all the like a wide frequency range?
Yes, a little bit wider, but they get better clean tones, I feel. Especially when you're playing a Strat.
They're usually more powerful too.
Yeah, you can get clean, but it's not just tinny,
More
you
efficient
can get everything in there. With the newer bass amps like the GKs that I use.
Did you try?
Did
you try the Roland jazz choruses?
I've tried them.
Yeah,
They're too bitey.
Yeah, too much bite for you.
Yeah, they're too in your face. It's either you can't hear it or fucking turn it off. My ears are bleeding.
Yeah,
it's crazy. They're nice. They're nice amps. I'm sure. I just
for
wasn't
your
able.
application.
Yeah, they were just too. They were untrainable. It's like you could turn so many knobs and they're not really changing that much.
You got a compressor in your rack head too, right?
Yes.
Do you using that thing?
Yes.
So
that's a post compressor
Yeah.
gate. I'm not using the gate currently because I just rewired all my guitars and shielded it with some aluminum tape everywhere.
Cool.
Which is fantastic.
You notice like
no
less
more hum.
noise.
Yeah.
It gets
No
rid of all
more
the
hum.
hum.
1,000 times improved.
Yeah.
You're like
It went from an annoyance to there's nothing.
You're
Nothing.
just like blocking all that basically like radio waves.
Well,
probably,
yeah.
and Wi-Fi
Remember at your
signal.
place where we used to practice? Through the guitar pickups, we would get like literally radio signals. We would hear
we'd hear
people
AM.
talking, hear AM.
And just putting that like foil tape, is that what you used or what?
I actually soldered everything a lot better, and then I used foil tape on the inside of all the where the pickups are
Do you
drilled
think
out.
the foil tape helped, or do you think
Oh,
you had
yeah.
something loose?
No, that it's basically a Faraday cage around the pickups.
Yeah.
So and there's probably something that wasn't quite grounded enough.
Quite properly. Or
Yeah.
quite possibly, huh?
Because I'd change my pickups all the time. I'm a DIYer when it comes to wiring.
Yeah.
I've been rolling with the same pickups in my old guitar that were hand wired and just twisted and fucking taped. That's a no-no.
Yeah, no, that's not
But
good.
I've been rolling with it for a long time, and just been using a gate at the beginning of my setup, to kill the noise. But now I'm running a lot cleaner, a lot more professional. It's nice.
All right, well, let's get in there and do it.
All right.
All right, you guys ready?
Let's go.
Yep.
unmovable. I see it all the time. I see it every day. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of you. I am God. Real talk to you. I don't need reason.
All right, we
What's
are
up, guys?
back.
We're back with K2, J Rock / Tork. What's up,
Hello.
Tony E and the DB, the DJB? What's up, fuckers? That was fun. I
Yeah,
didn't
that
have
was
that much
cool.
fun, actually. I'm lying. No, I'm lying that time. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
What do you guys think about when you jam? What were you guys thinking about tonight?
Dragons.
Were they spitting fire, or were they rideable like a
They're
horse
just hanging
dragon?
out.
They were just hanging out.
If
Yeah.
you could like,
It's pretty epic
Pure-
if you just see a dragon.
So you're playing a soundtrack for a dragon?
You know, just hanging out dragon though.
Wow.
I think
So-
my mind's going like some like, all right, this is okay. I think I got this, and then in comes the part that goes, oh shit, what's he doing next?
Yeah, tonight sometimes I have an inner sometimes I have an inner dialogue, I should say, and thinking about parts or other things like dragons. But tonight, when I look back, it was kind of blank. I was really in the music, and you guys put a lot of sounds out there for me to draw upon. Yeah, it was good. My mind was filled with sounds, kind of in that moment. I don't think I didn't have any self-criticism, rough patches in my own head. Well, in that moment, at least, while playing, it seemed like, of course, the typical mistakes when trying new shit. But
I definitely felt the rough patches for me.
yeah,
I was,
did you that inner consciousness battle?
I rarely ever play the bass, so
Yeah, how was that? Totally
fun.
new jams, new instrument. You sounded
yeah,
good, bro.
and a new like style of music. I don't normally play like I was playing in drop D the first couple
Yeah.
tunes.
Was it easier once you tuned up to E,
Yeah, for me,
the comfort
I
zone?
just am not used to playing in drop D.
Yeah. What'd you think, J
Were you in
Rock?
drop D all night,
Yeah. Drop D all night,
all night,
every day, all day.
And he does the drop T, the drop trowel. That's That's the secret move. That's the special. That's the finish him. So what'd you think, J-Rock? I mean, coming in first time at the mystery school.
It was great.
Yeah.
I was just I was really focused on timing tonight. That's
Would you have a hot date or something?
what I wanted to do was be on time every time. At least then I could lend to the group my timing.
Yeah.
My notes I weren't as focused on as much as being on downbeat.
I feel it was
watching you.
There was an emphasis on time tonight, huh? It had a really like punchiness to it. There was like, yeah. I think we all were feeling something about that.
I pulled away a few times doing some off-rhythm stuff. It was pretty fun. I get into that, just not necessarily doing anything fancy, but the fact that you guys are on an 8 and I'm doing a 3 or something like that, and we hook up every every 3 or 4 or whatever,
it's
how
like
it works,
Yeah, it's like kind of like how planets orbit each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's a gallop.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a psychedelic cosmic way to play.
Yeah. I enjoy it because it enables me to just pull notes. I don't have to vibe on anything. I can just kind of punch some notes out and focus on timing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've always liked that aspect with Tork, and is the dynamics, and timing's very important with dynamics. I mean, your timing when the builds are, just the pace of the song. I felt that theme a lot tonight. I came in with that in my subconscious too, of just with the time and keeping the dynamic, the punchiness, the in the pocket, maybe slower than normal. Give that space. I love being back in that power trio again, which Tork has always been. The bass, the guitar, and the drums.
Yep.
And I dig power trios. And if they can vibe together and be conscious of time and dynamics and each other, it's kind of a great coming together, meeting of the minds. I really enjoy.
I heard the coolest power trio recently.
Oh, yeah?
A band called Death. You heard of it or seen the movie?
Death or Death?
Death.
No.
Death.
No.
It's a documentary on Netflix about these 3 guys from Detroit. A 3-piece like rock and roll band, but it's punk rock from 1974. It's so good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and 3 brothers. Their mom like bought them instruments, and they had their jam room. They never like got popular or made it big, but they made a 45 with 2 songs in like 1974, and they made 500 copies of it. The labels didn't want to put it out, so they recorded it like with some funding from a label.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to put it out because they didn't like their name, Death. And
well, why not?
I know it's a great name now that you think about it. Like now,
Opposite
Only
of
other
life.
thing more important.
apparently in 1974, these guys who they dealt with weren't into it. So it gets popular like in like kind of like record collecting circles or something, like this rare
Becomes underground,
like 45,
a cult classic, or
and then like it kind of gets big. Somebody gets a copy, like digitizes it, puts it on the internet, and writes an article about it, and it gets kind of big. And then
How many years later? 30?
internet.
Yeah, so 30,
something like that,
33, like. So these guys are what, in their 50s once
something like that.
that comes around?
Yeah,
60s?
and then they get. It's kind of picked up in like certain music circles, and you have to watch the documentary.
All right, sounds good.
You can't sum it up too quickly. It's it's probably like a 2-hour documentary about this band. It's really cool.
Okay. Well,
Death.
what's happening?
Remember it. It's coming for you.
Jot it down. So cool, guys. I mean, hey, another interesting mystery school evening, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
it's fun. I'm having a good time with this project. I mean,
I had a little bit of a leg up because I had the pleasure of joining Tony and Dustin before.
Yeah,
And do a little bit of jamming.
our very first jam that Jeremy and I had in 6.5, 7 years, and after he moved back in town from states away, and we actually had the pleasure of doing that here at Tony's house.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony jammed with him. Had previously met Jeremy, and it was cool. And that was kind of the restarting, the beginning of the reunion.
That's when I saw the full setup, the coffin pedal board.
That's right. And
the two Marshall cabs, the Gillian Kruger rack head. You got the head tonight.
Yeah, I'm only using one of them, but
that's here.
I thought the sound was pretty enjoyable tonight.
Cool.
Seriously, when I'd step back, you step away from yourself as you're playing. I know you both get those moments. And I really was able to enjoy myself and enjoy what you guys were playing and the sound tonight.
At the small room, the tones are
it was
mellow
nice.
in there. You get the levels a little lower. You can really hear what everybody's
It's not
doing.
a bad sounding room.
No,
it's got a lot of carpet and stuff. I like the sound of it, like a dead room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a very dead room.
It's
and
good
small.
I like soaking up all the sound.
Yeah, you don't want
can put a
added
lot in there.
reverb. You can add that yourself.
Yeah.
That's what we got pedals, right?
Yeah. There's never a need for the tile wall sound in your jam room.
Yeah, not unless you're recording very
specific
depressing
part or-
vocals in the middle of a shower.
I mean,
A
Larry
walk-in
Lalonde,
shower.
I mean, for some albums, some Primus albums, would put the amplifier, the speaker cabinet, record in the bathtub, and get that sound.
Yeah, it's fine for one instrument,
Yeah.
but
They
not
rented
the-
a
Not the whole
warehouse.
band.
They rented a warehouse for Pork Soda, and they recorded live
Oh yeah.
in that warehouse. Have fun trying to mix that post.
Yeah, I mean, it
You're not
depends, I
getting
guess,
rid of
how
that.
big.
Well,
It's
it helps
big.
if you're less Claypool.
It's an empty warehouse.
If it's
mixing
big
yourself
enough, though,
jams.
the reverb shouldn't haunt you too bad because
Right.
it has places to go.
well, and
do you think, guys?
you're
Can
all
we get-
close mic too. So.
Yeah.
You
But
think we could get Les Claypool on the show over here?
Why
to
not?
jam?
He's a
Wouldn't that be
local.
fucking awesome.
He'd
I think
enjoy it.
Him, and if I could choose anybody to meet, I mean, besides Buddha or something, but living,
you want to
maybe
meet Buddha?
Gandhi if you could talk, but Danny Carey and Les Claypool. I mean, just to have Les come over here and jam,
Who would you meet?
that would be just a dream come true.
You can meet two people, alive
Just
or dead.
Anybody?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really interested in spending time with my mentors that don't know their mentors.
Yeah. Dustin, you're
I
going
got to
Les
meet-
Claypool?
I got to
I'd
meet
go
Adrian
maybe Les
Balloon.
Claypool and Buddha.
Les Claypool and Buddha.
I got to meet Adrian Ballou, and for me that's a big
Adrian
thing.
Beluda.
Beluda.
What's up, Adrian? I dig you and King Crimson.
It was really an awesome thing, except it was like an autograph line. So I bought a CD that
Yeah, I
I
get
wanted,
ya.
and then I walk up and I'm like, "Hi," and I couldn't say anything else.
Yeah.
And I was
Well, that was
just
the day that you came back to
starstruck.
the jam pad afterwards and your tits were signed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
That day.
Yeah.
I live in infamy.
I
What
would
about
have.
you?
I would have liked to have met Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
that was
kidding.
a
yeah.
that was a huge. I was a huge fan.
So how about this? If
I
you
guess
could,
it's
if you could meet him,
influence, if you-
would you
Yeah.
choose to meet him at this age, or would you be a young boy?
Definitely a young boy.
Then you get the
I
attention
get to ride on the train.
Wee.
Come on the train, boy.
Mr. Jackson. Ooh. Come here, blanket. Anyhow, how about you, Tony? If you could meet any two people, alive or dead.
I think I'd go Terrence McKenna
Oh, man, good choice.
and Alan Watts.
Ooh. Double dead, huh?
Yeah,
theme
you
of the
gotta
death.
choose dead.
Would you go with them? They're both kind of on the same theme, though.
They are.
Would
but
you want to get that abstract other side of it? Like,
No,
no?
because
They kind of
those
solidify.
two. I've listened to more of those two people than anyone else.
So together,
I
you
ha-
think they're that?
Like I did meet Richard Dawkins before.
Oh,
You know who that is?
When?
Like years ago, like when the God Delusion was new. I got a signed copy of it. Yeah, in my early atheist days. Yeah, I don't necessarily feel the same way about those things as I did at those times. Like just coming out of like
Well, that's the antithesis
weird-
of the oppression that is
Yeah.
Christianity being
yeah,
raised
it's
under
like
that.
just like completely opposite version of the other thing.
Yeah, you got to try it out to find that middle
But,
ground,
it's a-
which
it's a-
is Buddha.
It's definitely a cool thing to get into. It's really fun. Like any book series, atheist books are really entertaining.
Did you ever get into the atheist cookbook? Or no, that's the anarchist.
The atheist cookbook.
Did you ever get into that, dude?
It's like so anti-kosher.
Anti-kosher, yeah.
You rub pig on everything.
Oh shit.
So there you have
That's
it.
the funniest thing I've heard all week. You've heard of the atheist cookbook?
Maybe.
Man, the anarchist cookbook, that was huge, huh?
Yeah, that was fun.
Back in the younger days.
Making
you could blow
weird
some
bombs
stuff
out
up.
of tennis
Yeah, weird
balls
bombs.
and
Yeah, that was like a popular book. Like you'd
Yeah.
hear about that at like punk shows.
As a young punk kid, like,
Yeah.
I mean, Jeremy, that was a crazy trip though when we drove to Bonnaroo with you, Nick, and me. I mean, it was the
Coachella.
Coachella, the very first Coachella. We must have been just 17, 18, maybe. I don't know, but it was in this old rinky-dink car that Jeremy
I think
they
it
used
was
to
after
get from
18,
Nevada from the auction. Barely able to drive there and back. Driving in shifts, falling asleep while we were driving in the desert, 120 degrees that week with like barely. We just made it there and had enough to get back. We had nothing when we got there. Nothing to buy water. There was no shade there at the first one. Just stuck us in
yeah,
the
we
desert.
didn't have very much money.
We were like sitting by a tarp, a vendor, and we would like sneak water. We would like reach our hand under and grab a water bottle just to survive,
And-
man.
well,
And then
until the wind came.
yeah, that was later in the evening. But we finally went around and talked to like some cool artists, who had sculptures and scored supplies.
You guys were hanging out with anybody in the shade?
There was no shade, bro.
You
It
were
was
just-
in the desert. I mean, it's in
Indio,
right?
California.
But you get the payoff though.
It was maybe 120.
Rage and Tool headline that night. I mean, it was just amazing. Yeah, 120. Amazing show.
It was insane.
Insane. I mean, that was just a great trip.
Ben Harper played that
Ben
night, too.
Harper, yeah,
120?
120.
Man.
And
Yeah,
there
I
was
think
no-
it topped out at 120.
Yeah, it was
or
they
close
were
to it.
very well planned, and like we would find a little shanty vendor and like find that corner of shade.
You're just not
Next to the
supposed to
tarp.
hang out at a concert like that without a ton of money.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the problem. Like, if we had money, we'd be hydrated.
We were
drinking
like
beers,
kids.
eating
I
food,
think tickets
hanging
were
out.
like 40 to maybe $60. We were like, that's so crazy expensive. But yeah, we had just enough.
And we
for gas,
traveled
the
down.
hotels.
We met my Grammy, and she put us up in a hotel. She paid for not a hotel, but a motel. She paid for a motel down the street from her in L.A. And we fucking trashed the place after we were done with it. We turned every mattress upside down. The lamps were across the room upside down. Like,
You just
We didn't
trashed
trash it, we just-
because.
Not like
we
that.
just turned it upside down.
Yeah, we flipped
we didn't
everything
break
to,
anything,
like,
but it was
to make
just-
it look really weird when you came in.
it was not going to be fun for the people
Yeah,
who come
nothing
in
was
and
damaged.
Did
clean.
they charge your
Reversed.
Grammy?
No,
No,
I don't think
you
so.
couldn't. It was just.
She didn't say anything about it, so I don't know. Maybe.
They're charging me $50 for a flipping fee. Everything was upside down.
Oh shit. We were wrestling. What else could we do? We had to put the mattresses on the
Jeez.
wall.
Man, getting back was just an adventure. I mean, I remember Jeremy just trying to drive and falling asleep. It was scary. Oh, man. And I took over driving. I was just as tired. We had to get back. We didn't have hotel rooms, money, nothing. And we would just stop any random place and like get a few hours sleep, rotate. Nick was the man in the back, would sit back there. He was
How
awesome.
far was it? Where was it? Bonnaroo?
in Indio. So
Where's
Southern
that?
Callionia. It was like a 7-hour drive.
it's
for
So
us.
past
you guys had
Palm-
to take naps for a 7-hour?
We did. Well,
Did you stay up like
we had
that?
been. We had to
You went
leave that
whole
night. Well, we had been there since like 8 in the morning.
2-day festival.
Yeah, we had been at a festival all day since that day, 8 in the morning. We left at like 11 and had to drive home that night. So like we got home the next day at like 10 or like maybe 2 or 3 the next
we
morning.
bombed out as soon as we were done there.
Between the car the car would break down and overheat, so we'd have to pull over, sleep, like
Yeah, that
beep,
was that-
like
that
yeah, this old Volvo that
Mint
we
green
got
Volvo
yeah,
that
oh my
me and my dad
gosh.
painted.
Had to do that before, where you like
We had
your
no-
car overheats and you got to pull over and let it cool off.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. You
It's
you
nap
get a car
time.
you've never driven before, and you don't have any prior experience to long road trips with it, so you have no clue.
Yeah,
what
that's
it's
the olden
gonna
days.
do.
We didn't even have caffeine. We were young kids. We hardly knew. Like we didn't
That was
drink
pre Red
coffee.
Bull, right?
Huh?
Pre Red Bull.
Pre Red Bull, yeah. Coffee wasn't a fad. Like
I don't
we didn't
know
know
what you're
about
talking
caffeine.
about. I was a coffee
Yeah,
fiend.
I guess coffee, but I mean,
I've been drinking coffee since I was 13.
it wasn't potent. I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
It wasn't the
those
high
tired
octane
days.
stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't the high octane like they got now. But I mean, that was a blast, huh? That was such a cool trip. The very first Bonnaroo. I keep saying Bonnaroo, Coachella.
Coachella.
I guess we gotta take the next trip's gonna be to Bonnaroo. We gotta get an old green
Bonnaroo, that
Volvo.
would have been a real trip.
That would have been a real trip.
You guys,
We were too young to drive that car. That car would not have made it even there.
you guys would have been dead.
We would have been
Bonnaroo.
dead.
You guys were
Yeah,
lucky.
we didn't have enough gas money to make it halfway. I mean, even we barely had enough to make it. What 1,600 miles? I mean, come on. That was. Yeah, you have some fun. Just moving you down here from Washington from Shasta was an adventure with the truck. I mean,
I'm a friend
brand
that
new
comes
rental
with
truck.
awesome stories.
Truck breaks down.
If you want to be my friend, you're gonna have awesome stories.
Adventures.
There's something about having a car that breaks down that'll make a story a little better, huh? You don't ever want it to happen to you, though.
Yeah, but we got home, didn't we?
We made it home.
Because somebody knows how to work on cars.
I don't think we ever got to that point of having to work on it. It was just by the time we were like maybe 3 or 4 hours out, it was just rattling, and we're like, just go, do not stop, don't turn it off, and we would just.
Well, you know,
We knew that like the last.
there's some knowledge mixed in
Three
there
quarters.
about how to treat it.
You guys just drove it right to the used car lot and traded it in.
Sold it probably for a
Yeah,
profit.
My dad sold it.
Like,
But,
Dad, this thing didn't make it to Coachella and back. Get rid of it. Probably going next year.
Yeah, Kevin goes to the High Mountain Music Festival or
High Sierra.
High Sierra,
Yeah.
High Mountain, something like that.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Yeah. Any last things you wanted to say?
I like cheese.
All right. There it
A
is.
lot.
You
Dust-
cheesy bastard.
Dustin, how do you feel about cheese?
It's tasty, man.
I like it too.
Rotten cheese isn't good.
No, never. But maybe if you're really hungry, just pick the rotten stuff off. That's like a life thing.
Or you could just be like the old
Just
kings
do
and
life,
queens, eat mold and
But
just
pick
trip
the
out.
rotten stuff off.
I don't know.
That's how old kings and queens used to trip out, like on the moldy bread. They just like they
I
eat the
doubt it.
mold. Yeah, you doubt it? Look it up, bro.
I've heard about it. I just
Have you
doubt
ever
they're
heard of
actually doing
Pruno?
it.
It's
if
possible.
you were a king and a queen, you really gonna eat moldy bread, or are you gonna be like, all right, you guys find out what moldy bread works and bring me just a little bit of the right mold.
Well, they didn't have the good shit
They-
back then.
Yeah,
just had
they hadn't
whatever.
discovered it, but
They
that's
had
the same effect.
alchemists that would just like make a smoke bomb and go, "I have magic."
voila.
When really they're just making moldy bread and going, "Here, this will make it trip."
Mold, fungus, it's the same family. It was like the precursor of finding that.
Or Pruno, bathtub wine.
Tub wine.
Totally different level.
Or
Have you drank that?
toilet
Have you drank that before?
toilet Pruno. Oh, I've heard about it. It's a
too.
thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
Well, good night. God bless.
yeah,
And
thanks for tuning in.
thanks for tuning in. Hey,
Peace out.
coming
Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for coming.
See you next time, guys.
Later.